Hello and welcome to another how-to video by the Computer Lab. In this video we'll be showing you how to replace your standard hard drive for an SSD in a late 2013 iMac 27-inch. Model number is EMC2639. Just showing you there the different tools I'll be using. I also use like a guitar pick if you've got one knocking around. And also, very important, showing you the different thicknesses of the prying tools and the craft knife that I'll be using to remove the tape from the screen. The drive we're using is a Crucial 750 gig SSD, and you'll also need a 2.5 inch to 3.5 inch hard drive holder or converter. Just using a normal plastic one here, so one we can modify if needed. So before you start cutting into your screen, you need to set the craft knife length. I've set it to 10mm from cutting along the angle there, and does not want to be any more than 14mm if you change the angle when you're cutting. It's important because there is some wires in there where the Wi-Fi, which you can see there, this is with the screen removed, so you can just see how it will cut along the actual tape and what you're trying to free up and release once you get cut in between the screen and the actual base. So as long as that length isn't any more than that, you can actually trim along quite confidently, knowing that you're not going to damage anything. So we'll start cutting here, taking special care where the FaceTime camera is, just on the middle center at the top. Just speeded this bit of the video up just to try and keep the video as short as possible, but we are travelling a bit slower when we're cutting there. You just can go over it several times. Just be careful to keep the knife parallel to the LCD. If not, you could damage the black coating that's the inside of the screen. And you just keep working your way around, making sure you get all the tape as best you can. So just going along the sides, along the top, and just continuously working your way around the screen until you can start to feel it lift. You will start to feel the tape give as you keep working away with your different pry tools and your craft knife. I am using the thinner pry tool as well whilst I start to work it, and you see the screen just start to lift. So I've just got the pry tool in there, just slowly just tweaking it. Just be very careful, obviously don't go lifting it with the tape still stuck, because you stand a chance of cracking the screen. Once you've got your pry tool in the corner, you can then obviously run your knife along the edge of there, knowing that you're not going to damage the screen, just keeping it parallel to the LCD. We also have the steel 6-inch ruler. You can use pry tools or something similar, as long as it just keeps it apart in the corner. And with the something, just wedge it so it doesn't stick back down. You can just work away with your craft knife or your pry tool, and just slowly again, just giving it a little tweak here and there, just making sure the glue is starting to give, and you've cut through the right amount of glue. If you haven't, you will feel the screen stick. It won't feel like it's lifting. There's no clips or anything holding it, so you can just work away confidently, making sure you get rid of all the glue. Just off camera there you can't see, but I've got another 6-inch ruler and a pry tool in there, just keeping the glue separated, and I'm just slowly working my way around, making sure when I do get to the camera I don't damage the camera. So I'll just lift it when you get to the camera and work each side of that the tape. Okay, so once you're confident you've got the tape free, you can then start to slowly lift, and you can see that I'm just running a guitar pick just along there, just to help lift the screen. It's not to separate it in any way, I've already done that. It's just literally just to get it lifting. And once you start to get the screen to lift, obviously just the nearest to the base is still stuck at the moment because we haven't freed that off. You start to lift it. You don't want to lift it any more than 6 to 8 inch, 150mm, 200mm, because there's 2 cables to unclip. Once one of the cables has a little metal clip on it, just don't pull that back. It has a little tape on it, pull it back, and it will pull forward, and you can remove the clip. Once the cables are off, you can then start to lift it. Again, just very slow with this because the bottom is still taped to the base. So once you've got it sort of to an angle that you're happy with, sort of 90, just short of 90 degrees, you then want to get your pry tool or your craft knife and just work away along the bottom edge between the screen and the actual base itself. and waiting for it to start to move. Now in here as well, the power supply board needs protecting. If you're not that confident and possibly you might lean on the components, you need to just cover the power supply up with a piece of paper so it insulates your hand from touching it. The capacitors and stuff will still be held in charge. So again, just the craft knife, just slowly working, fingers here, just be patient, just work along this edge here, not actually touching the screen, make sure you don't scratch the screen, you're just trying to cut the tape. And once you start to feel it give, you can then start to lift, just slowly lift it away from the base, and then you should be free to access your Mac's insides. So you can see that's the power supply just in front of the hard drive. So we'll put that tape, that piece of paper just back on, because we still need to remove the tape residues along the base. These actually come off quite easy. They're not as hard as you might initially think. Once you start to get the edge of the tape to move, you can just start to peel off. You need to do this side, and you also need to do the tape on your screen. Just be showing you how to get the tape off the base on this video. I usually use something like the guitar pick or the pry tool, as long as it's something just a bit softer so you're not scratching the actual base. And just to start the edge going, you can use your nails, whichever you're more comfortable with. Once you get it going, you'll see that it just peels away, and you do just need to work your way around the whole of the screen. I've just speeded this video up just to try and keep things moving a bit, and you can see it does peel off really quite easy, and there's not much cleaning to do if you get it off in one piece and you haven't and you've cut through as per the initial video when we started. So just being particular attention around the sensors, around the camera. I mean, it's split on the camera anyway, it's just the sensor really either side, and you need to make sure that you do get every little bit off, because it needs to be spotless here. If it's not spotless, when you go to glue the screen back on, it will slightly lift, and you'll end up with little gaps around the edge, and it just won't be a neat job. So you just need to take your time, be careful around here, work your way around, make sure you get every little bit off. These tapes that we're removing here, they come in if you bought the kit form, they come exactly the same with the holes in and for each side. So you just, again, peeling each one off. Once you've got it all clean, then you can start to remove the two screws that's on the left hand speaker. On the right hand side we're looking at it, but it's the actual left hand speaker. I've already unscrewed them, we're just pointing to them with the Torx driver. Just push it out of the way, it doesn't need to come out. That reveals the two screws on the side of the hard drive. If you need to remove these two, once that bracket's off, the hard drive just pulls out at an angle and unclips from the SATA drive. You see there the cable. Now that cable is quite close the way it's angled, which you'll see in a minute. We need to release the caddy for the SSD. So first thing to do, we unscrew the mount pins that hold the hard drive into the two brackets. So you unscrew these from the old drive with your Torx, and you're screwing them into the caddy, and they need to be in the same position, obviously. So when you put your caddy on, when you put your caddy into the internal brackets, it lines up with them. The plastic caddy, 2.5 inch, 3.5 inch caddy I'm using here is self-tapping holes in it, so it's a bit fiddly. But basically there you can see me just checking the line up okay. Once I'm happy with that, I just keep removing the 4 pins in total, and then screwing them into the caddy so they're in the same position. Once we're happy, again I've just speeded this video up just to keep things moving. Just make sure they're nipped up and not going to come loose. Obviously there's no spinning drives in an SSD, so there's no vibrations as such in the this bit, even though it mounts into little rubber like little suspensions on the caddy arms inside the Mac. So once you've got them screwed in, there are 100mm gap between them both, as you can see, just in case you've got a caddy lying around you want to try and match up. So you can see there are 100mm centres, So here's where I had to cut the bottom of the caddy out. This caddy was pence, £3 or £4 I think, so it doesn't need to be anything special because it's not really doing much. So we're just relieving there so the cable can actually sit along the bottom of the hard drive. That's just because of the way the Mac's designed. So there you can see we were clipped in. It just sits there along the bottom. Make sure it all sits in nicely, all lined up. Screw the bracket back on. Put your speaker, screw the speaker back in. And once everything's screwed back in, you can then put your tapes on the base that seal the LCD to the actual framework. Here they are all in position. The two furthest away on the top of the screen near the Apple logo, they actually attach to the screen. They're just shown there to show you what position they sit in. Once they're all in, then need to test before sticking. You don't have to do this, but I usually like to do just to make sure everything's working okay. So I'll place some cardboard. This before I remove the protective tapes. So they're non-sticky at this point. Put some cardboard in between the screen and the base. Plug the two connectors in. Put the power on. And make sure everything boots up okay. Once I'm happy with this stage, and then take the cardboard out, take the protective tapes and stick everything down. And if everything's gone to plan, once you've got your software installed, you can obviously just check the drives all okay, but there you can see all up and running. Okay, so if you like this video, if you can please subscribe, it does help us, and give us a like or any comments below, and we'll try to answer them as quick as we can.